We know that every day marketers are demanding more and more transparent measurement solutions to meet the needs of the modern media ecosystem. As the industry breaks free from legacy models, what will the new world of measurement independence look like, and how can marketers adapt? We're so excited to have Samba TV CEO and co-founder here to talk about it, Ashwin Navin. So good to see you.
Nice to meet you, Nicole.
By.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell us a little bit more for those who don't know. I don't know what they've been doing with their lives, but Samba TV.
Well, we're an omni-screen advertising and measurement platform. We're a company built on first-party data and first-party identity that hopefully brings the world to a much more transparent world, as you suggested, one that's more addressable and more measurable.
What has led us to this moment of independence? Why do you think marketers are speaking up now?
There's always been this adage in the industry of, when you spend advertising dollars, you're left wondering what half worked and what half didn't. And I think we're today feeling that there's two sides of our brain. As marketers, we've got one side that feels very insecure about the media investment that's being made. And then on the other hand, with digital and robust data sets, you feel really good, that the methodology that we have for measurement of digital advertising is quite robust. And I think we stand to try and bring TV up to the digital age, to bring these on par so you can look at them holistically and bring about the transparency and the measurement independence that allow you to do that. So
what do you think is the half that hasn't been working? Bad news first.
Well, there's no shortage of desire. I mean, we know that TV works because brands that invest are the most recognizable brands in the world, and they continue to invest in the legacy forms of television, but also in most advanced forms, in connected TV, and they're doing this at massive scale. But when you sit down in front of a television and you play a video and you see the same ad appearing at every interval, as a marketer, you say, gosh, I wonder how many of my consumers are having this very frustrating experience. And it's hard to defend, without much more robust data and measurement to really understand how big of a problem that is.
And if that hasn't been working, that means that there's more opportunities in the future. What do you think marketers are most excited about looking to 2022?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, on the one hand, you've got a massive investment in television, in linear television, that will need to move. We know that people have cut the cord. Trend lines around adoption around streaming video in the living room and all other devices have only accelerated in the last couple of years. And so that's put real pressure to move the traditional budget into its most advanced and likely successor, which is connected TV. But we know that connected TV needs data. It needs data to inform how to reach an incremental household, not the same household that's already seen the ad 30 times, but a household that's incremental, that hasn't been reached. Maybe they've cut the cord, maybe they're watching ad-free services. Maybe this is a household that would really like to see, the ad. So that trend line's working right now. Other trend lines are, the desire to bring TV up to the digital level of rigor and to be able to look at those holistically, so that you're not, on the one side of your brain feeling really solid on your methodology, on the other hand, feeling like, gosh, what are we doing? We're doing the same thing we've always done for the last 50, 60 years. And there's been obviously some headlines of late that, the major Nielsen methodology has lost accreditation. And so that's put some real emphasis on identifying alternatives, ones that can really make sense of this world that we live in and make sense of the consumer behavior that's very different today.
So what are the alternatives?
Well, Samba, we've certainly been at this for more than a decade. And we've taken the approach that large data sets that we can gather from smart TVs present a very viable and now much more truthful view into TV viewership than ever before. During COVID, a great deal of sympathy for this model, but the traditional model of TV data was that you would get a meter and you would go recruit people to put this meter in the living room.
This is so old school. How did we do this for so long?
Well, I mean, it was state of the art in the 20th century. This was, in a broadcast world, there was no other way to get data from households that were getting video through the air. But today we know we get video through the web or through the internet. And over-the-top viewership is much more easily measured than traditional broadcast or cable. So what we have to do is take a look at the methodology which required people to come put a meter in the house. That was really hard to do during COVID because no one wanted someone coming into their house and no one wanted to be out in the world either. And so that methodology is obviously highly questioned, and we're looking at how large data sets can replace that legacy approach. And I guess we can look at the pandemic as an accelerator on this trend line, and one that's pushing us to the future. So Samba does have two currencies. We have one that relates to tune-in, which is an outcome, which entertainment marketers, whether you're a new streaming service or a broadcaster that's looking for rating points, what you use to kind of guide your marketing investments is something that we can influence and we can measure and optimize. With our tune-in measurement, we can see how a marketing investment on a digital platform or a marketing investment on a TV platform or even an outdoor platform can drive people to install an app, watch a show, drive the viewership up, and we can help marketers optimize that. So that's one of our measurements.
And what's the other?
The other one is a reach metric. We call it true reach and frequency. And what it looks at is not only the TV, but all the devices in the household to really understand how does an ad campaign deliver reach on every device within the household and how much frequency does it deliver as well. So that you can see those kind of weird outcomes where some people have seen the ad 30 times, some people haven't seen it at all. And in the case of one, we can optimize for frequency, bring that frequency down so you don't frustrate the consumer. And on the other hand, we can optimize for reach to try and reach those households that haven't seen the ad but might be really interested, that might be in the exact target that you're looking for as a marketer, to be able to figure out how we can amplify that reach and fill in the gap.
You mentioned that a couple times. Do you think this is a big pain point in the industry watching?
I would ask you.
Yes.
I think we can all relate to it.
I answered my own question. So what do you think the industry at large can do? What kind of steps can we take as we're moving toward this multi-currency model?
Well, there's two sides of a currency conversation. There's the buy side and then there's the sell side. Companies like Disney, for example, for the last couple of upfront cycles, have actually, now that they own Hulu, now that they own Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, they own their broadcast and cable networks domestically, internationally, has a vast amount of inventory. So they're out in market basically saying, we can stitch this all together. You can buy this cross-platform. You can buy it with traditional measurement, or you can buy it with advanced measurement. Pick your currency. I think there's a decent number of initiatives on the supply side that are trying to push the industry forward. We just heard Dan Aversano talking about Univision, what they want to do. Kelly Abkarian's talking about her vision for NBC Universal now that she's left Nielsen. These are all really exciting initiatives that are happening on the sell side of the business. And now the question is for the marketers, for the agencies that are adopting advanced measurement for their clients, for the clients themselves that are in-housing data science, in-housing methodology. It's time to get with the program of saying, you have really one of two decisions. You can sort of stay in the past, or you can go to the future.
That's not a decision. Who says I want to stay in the past?
Well, I will say there are a number of people in our industry who would rather just not have to deal with this. Would rather say, I don't know where to hire data scientists. I don't know if I want to outsource this or insource this, or if I want to just, sort of call it a day, to get another few years of industry before I call it quits. But there's another group that's basically saying we have to push the industry forward, whether we're in-housing and hiring data science within our four walls. We're going to find a partner like Samba that has data scientists and has that expertise and has the data, to be able to make sense of this and move the industry forward. Ultimately, it's about taking inventory of data. The data that's available from first parties like Samba, or even the first party data that clients have themselves. Like your own CRM file, how many customers you have, what they buy from you, who hasn't bought from you recently or hasn't bought from you at all. That's truthful. Like there is no ambiguity about how many customers you have and how much revenue you're booking. If you can connect your marketing investments to your source of truth, everything else becomes super clear. You're no longer guessing. It's very, very clear what marketing investments are working. And what we've heard from the supply side, Disney is actually out saying, that they are connecting first-party data sets to Disney so that you can actually see how well Disney can deliver the reach as well as the performance. And Lisa Valentino will be talking about that here at Adweek this week.
I'm looking forward to that. And from the buy side, what do you think they should be asking for during this shift?
Well, this is about really, being able to say I'm confident about my whole ad spend, that there's no blind spot, that the precision and the rigor that I have with my digital investment, I can apply it to television, which we know is the best screen for video. You know, it is the best experience for shows. It is the place where we want to be after a long day of video conferencing and remote work and whatever, or a long day of school. It's a place that's given us a ton of information and news over the last year and a half. It's also been a place where we've been able to get an escape from those headlines, you know, to get through whatever the catalog of video is that we've subscribed to on TV.
You're a serial entrepreneur. This is your third company. You probably could have chilled at the beach after BitTorrent. Why did you get into this area? I'm assuming you think that this is going to continue to grow and only continue to innovate.
It's an interesting question. So BitTorrent, you know, as you may remember, was not the right way, but it was the very popular way for people to get their favorite movies and TV shows. And you know, these were millions of probably 15 to 25-year-olds in all over the world that were basically downloading to their computers. And what we observed was that our consumers, even the most technically savvy folks in the world, really wanted to get this video from their computer to their TV. And I would include myself in this group, but we would do crazy things, like we would burn a disc, we would run cables across the room.
Seems barbaric, right?
Well, now we've got servers that you can download to, and you can stream it to all your TVs. But there was a big gap when we started Samba that we wanted to fix, we wanted to close. The gap was the digital world that we knew and loved, where literally whatever you want, you could get it. And the TV, which was still governed by one TV provider, one measurement currency, you know, a handful of very well-heeled brands. We wanted to bring all the goodness of digital, and we wanted to basically bring it to TV, both for the consumer as well as for the industry.
Well, thank you from a consumer's perspective, and thank you for being with us, Ashwin. Enjoy advertising.
Thanks so much.